Which is going to be better between the two 2025 Toyotas? We have the Highlander 25th edition hybrid limited in wind chilled pearl. They only have 2,500 units in the United States this year versus the Grand Highlander hybrid limited. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over some pros and cons, compare this to each other and some of the competition to see which one is better and which one is better overall to buy. Starting off with the Highlander, when you go into the 25th edition, you're going to have the same grille as the Platinum. So the chrome's going to be surrounding it, the glossy black inserts, LED headlights, daytime runnings, and fog lights. Front parking sensors, it has bird's eye view. 8 inches of clearance, that's on both vehicles. The lower is going to have the satin aluminum. That's going to carry over into the Grand Highlander, but you're going to have this massive gloss black grille. That's going to be a huge difference for me. It also sits up a little bit more prominent than the Highlander. LED headlights, daytime runnings, and fog lights. You'll have the chrome that's going to surround the top. Underneath the hood is going to change the whole ball game. The Highlander is going to receive the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid producing 243 horsepower, 175 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an ECVT transmission, standard all-wheel drive this year, achieving 35 mpgs for the city, 34 mpgs for the highway. Now, the big question that comes into play, which is better? If you're looking at mpgs, well, this is going to go to 36 mpgs for the city, 32 mpgs for the highway, which is better for city driving, less for highway driving. So it's still kind of hard to decide which is better. Underneath the hood gets a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder hybrid. That's producing 245 horsepower combined compared to an ECVT transmission. It's also heavier. This is also longer and bigger. The 25th edition is going to have 20-inch wheels. 18-inch wheels is standard. There isn't anything that's on the exterior that screams 25th edition. All-wheel drive badging on the lower with the satin aluminum, but if I didn't know any better, I may think this is the Platinum trim, whereas on the Grand Highlander, I'm getting the 20-inch wheels. These are blacked out because the XP X Series package, which we get that right here on the side, that's in the 5 states, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia. So it makes it known what I have and where I'm at, opposed to the 25th edition where I'm around 7 inches less in length. And I'm just getting cues from the Platinum trim. And in the rear, they finally give me the plate with the Highlander right next to it. The lower gets the reverse parking sensors and a 360-degree reverse camera. But when I go into the Grand Highlander, I receive a little bit more cons because I only have a reverse camera. The digital rear view mirror, again, goes into the Platinum tier, but I'm in the limited trim. Why did we add so many trims that now we don't get the 360-degree reverse camera, and we're near 60 grand on this side. The XP X Series package comes into the rear because everything's blacked out. LED taillights are on both, with the LED light bar that's on the lower roof spoiler here, which you will not get that grand approach when you're going to the regular Highlander. Which way would you go? For me, I would probably go the extra length because I need it for interior space, but because they have a captain seat configuration, I may take the box to the 25th edition. But let us know which way you would go in the comments. Our liftgate going into 20.6 cubic feet, which is over 4 cubic feet more than the regular Highlander. Home plug, JBL sound system. You have the LED interior lights, and the JBL comes into the tailgate. Underneath the floor, gets a little bit of storage. You get the Grand Highlander badging with the Toyota that illuminates. Split fold the third row at a 40-60 split. That's going to increase cargo to 57.9 cubic feet, which is nearly 20 cubic feet more than the regular Highlander. But you will have to go into the back door in order to fold down the captain seat configuration. And it's a 2-tier fold. That will maximize cargo to 97.5 cubic feet of storage, which is over 13 cubic feet more than the Highlander. As for the Highlander, power liftgate going into 16 cubic feet of storage behind the third row. Limited trim adds the home plug. JBL sound system underneath the floor. It's going to have a little bit of storage. And you split fold the rear bench, just simply pull this here. And that will increase the cargo capacity to 48.4 cubic feet, but you will have to go into the back door in order to fold down the captain seats to get the 84.3 cubic feet. Pull the lever, pull this, it's going to fold down flat. and that will maximize the cargo capacity to the Highlander. Key fob for the Highlander 25th edition. I'm going to go ahead and show you the key fob to the Grand Highlander Limited, and they're both hybrids. Going inside to the special color that is only going to be on the 25th edition. Heated, ventilated front seats, 12-way power seat adjustment for the driver, 8-way for the passenger, memory seats for the driver. On the Grand Highlander, it's a limited trim also, so you're going to have leather seats. Heated, ventilated front seats, the same power seat adjustment, memory for the driver. The main thing that you're going to notice is it's a little bit more tight in the regular Highlander. You'll still have a storage here, 11 speakers through JBL sound system. You don't receive any storage here, but that's where they clean it up on the Grand Highlander and give you a USB-C port here, the same speaker configuration with the same 12.3 infotainment screen. Let's fire it up. For the Grand Highlander, you can get a heads-up display that's 10 inches, as well as a digital rear view mirror. That's going to be on the Platinum trim, and that's actually on both of the Highlander and the Grand Highlander. For this Grand Highlander, the screen comes out of the dashboard a little bit more so. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse and you have a reverse camera. It will not cover up the whole screen. The trajectory does expand whenever you move the steering, and you can change the trajectory to take the tow line off or to pretty much take all the lines off. You can also expand this out, but a con to me is why doesn't it cover up the whole 12.3 inch screen? As for the Highlander, let's fire it up. The way they configure the infotainment screen here, even though it's the same 12.3, it just looks like it's actually mounted in the dash because of this wide design that goes into the passenger side. And when you go limited 25th edition, you're getting a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear. You can also do the same thing, taking the grids on and off. And you can expand, you can change different camera layouts here. But it covers up the whole screen. So this is one thing that I like a little bit more so on the Highlander opposed to the Grand Highlander. Tri-climate control settings is standard on both, with a wireless charging pad up here with USB-C ports at 12 volt. And you got a storage area here that could be a wireless charging pad, but they didn't put that. Wood inlays is going to come into play here with the driver mode select EV mode, and this is going to be a little bit more sporty. It slides open into a deep storage pocket with a 12 volt. This little tub, you can put it right here and adjust it forward or backwards. And it's the same thing with the Grand Highlander, just a little bit deeper. The 12 volt is a little bit more tucked underneath. This slides over as well, and it's still sporty. The driving mode select here, and now you can see all that storage with the wireless charging pad, 2 USB-C ports, leather-wrapped steering wheel. It's heated, multi-function with a digital gauge reader that can go through an array of different content for the driver, and you can change out all 3 areas in that center for the content. You can do that on both the Grand Highlander and the regular Highlander that also has a leather-wrapped steering wheel that's multi-function. Leg space in the Highlander as well as headroom. I'm at 6'3", guys. It seems to be working fine with a moonroof, but I can understand if you want the Grand Highlander because you'll just have a little bit more with a long panel moonroof, and you'll have a little bit more leg space in the door panel dash configuring together nicely. It's also a longer door. It's soft where you rest your arms, one touch up and down for the windows, a long storage pocket, and a little cubby for the driver. And the Highlander will have the same configuration. I kind of like the wood a little bit better here. It's still soft to touch, the same one touch up and down. A little bit smaller door, a little bit smaller storage, but you have the same little cubby here. For the second row, the opening that you have is pretty sufficient. It's sunny, so let's put the manual sunshades up. The door is going to have the same segment that's found in the front, except you're going to have 3 cup or beverage holders carved out, and you could put maybe a smaller smartphone here. Captain seat configuration, you can get an bench option with the cup holders here. You have a little storage here for the third row, third climate control, 2 USB-C ports, a home plug because we're in the limited trim, storage behind both of the front seats. Check out the leg space, and I can adjust this forward. And I can also adjust it backwards so I have more. And the same thing with headroom. It's actually really well, especially considering this is smaller than the Grand Highlander and the air vents are right on my head. The Grand Highlander is more of a grand entrance. You have a larger door. You got the manual sunshades. We're going to put them down so you can see the large door. You have a storage area for some mints or some gum, a longer storage pocket, and a bigger cell phone can fit here. Captain seat configuration, and the same. You can get bench if you want to, just go down different trims. Cup holders, you have areas for phone, storage. This lifts up completely, so you'll have a full pass-through to the third row. I probably will leave it for the majority of the ride because you don't have any cup holders otherwise except for the door. Home plug, 2 USB-C ports, heated rear seats, third climate control, storage behind both of the front seats. These seats also move backwards and forward, but you're noticing the space is a little bit less here, but then the headroom is a little bit more here, and you can also recline more here. And the air vents will be on the side of the roof. Moment of truth, the Highlander. Pull this lever, slide it forward. That's the room that I have to enter at 6'3" for 3 more occupants in the back. You get 2 cup holders on both sides. The air vents in the ceiling, headroom. It's going to be a little bit more cramped. You're going to expect that because this is not the Grand Highlander. We're going to adjust this a little bit more forward so that way I can actually fit back here because now it's a little bit more cramped. Sliding into the center, the same thing. I could not fit if the seat was all the way back. You're going to share a significant amount of butt, leg, and shoulder space because this is actually bulging outwards, and even for headroom, it's going to be quite cramped. Now, the nice thing about the Highlander and also the Grand Highlander is you can adjust the seats back. So if I needed to sit back here, I would just do that. Headroom wouldn't be that much of an issue. But in the Grand Highlander, you could do the same thing and you have a significant amount of headroom. That's with the seat back. Now we're going to put the seat up so you can actually see headroom is about the same, but this is where it gets better. Look at this. The leg room, I actually have some. And I'm going to be able to slide over here into the center. I could move this so that way I can just stretch it out. So I'd be just sharing a little bit of butt, leg, and shoulder space. You get 3 cup holders on both sides with 2 USB-C ports because of the limited trim. Headroom becomes a little bit more cramped. And then exiting the vehicle, that's the room that you have to exit, which is a little bit more than the Highlander. Taking the Highlander out first with 243 combined horsepower when you go Grand Highlander. And you're getting 1 mpg more to the city there, but here we're getting 2 mpgs better to the highway. So it kind of depends on what you're needing because it's also longer than this vehicle. Hybrid engine kicks on right away as soon as you hit about half, maybe 2.5 RPM. Feels like it has pretty good motivation too. I mean, I've driven these vehicles quite a bit. You can see on the channel, they can get you to point A to point B where you need to be. The main difference really is going to be the interior and the length because you're around 7 to 10 inches longer going to the Grand Highlander. Towing capabilities is the same. Ground clearance is the same. The way the screen configuration is, I like it a little bit better in the Highlander because it looks more flush to the dash, but I dislike all the plastic that's in both of them. That's going to take me to some pros and cons. The pros on the Highlander is you're receiving basically the same thing as the Grand Highlander, just in a kind of compact version of it. I know it's not by any standards, it's still a large vehicle. Tri-climate control standard all-wheel drive, as well as a wireless charging pad, plenty of USB ports found throughout, but then the con, you have to go up the tier in order to get USB in the third row. What the heck were they thinking when they're giving it almost in every trim going into the Grand Highlander? Here, you have less trims, less power options. The sound deadening isn't as good as it should be, and we're over $56,000 price. I do like that we're having a 25th edition because now it's, it's unique. So you're getting some platinum features on a limited trim, but you're also paying more money because you're getting a 25th edition. Braking on the vehicle, is it heavy? Hybrid? It's not. You can stop on a dime if you need to, and I really mean that. Turn radius at a stop point is going to be about 2 to par lane. We need to rock and roll. And you see no one passed me. That's what I mean by the motivation. You have it here. But we need to see the difference between the performance that we have here and the performance that we get in the Grand Highlander. Now the Grand Highlander, is the suspension going to be better? Is the seat comfort going to be better? Same 8 inches of clearance. It does feel longer. It feels a lot longer than the numbers project. You have better Toyota safety sense here because you got 3.0. So this is up to date, which is going to take me to some pros and cons. A lot of traffic, but we're going to show you some performance in just a second. Going to the pros, everybody has a sufficient amount of room. Everybody has charging ports. Everyone can feel the air. All the seats are comfortable. There isn't any manual cushion extensions, but the first and second row basically feel the same. The third row is going to sit up a little bit higher, but you still have more headroom and leg room. Plus, when you recline the seats at 6'3", I could sit and enjoy a ride if I had to tag along in the third row. When you go into the Highlander, you're losing charging ports. Cup holders, you're gonna have a ton of them. I wish there was a full pass-through. I complain about that a lot in my reviews because when you're getting larger vehicles, you're wanting storage. You're wanting room to fit. You're wanting charging capacity as well as air that's going to go all around the cabin. They do a good job with everything except for the storage nooks and giving us a full pass-through. The suspension, I feel it holds itself a little bit better than the Highlander. It's probably because of the weight and it's a little bit longer. When you take bends on the road, this is going to feel a little bit more boaty. The steering on both of them are heavy. You're not going to feel too much of the imperfections in the road. Both have 20-inch wheels. The only difference is when you're going faster in this, you will feel it a little bit more so than you will in that one, especially if you're taking bends because they're both top-heavy vehicles. Since we checked the brakes in the Highlander, we got to do it in the Grand Highlander. Let's see if we can stop on a dime. And you could do so, otherwise I would be owning a new Nissan Rogue, which that's not a new variant. It would obviously not be something that's great. Going against competition, the Highlander and Grand Highlander is kind of one of those segment forward vehicles because both of them get great MPGs, get great capacity of everything. In pricing, I mean, you're just a touch over 60 grand. If you go into the Highlander, you're under 60 grand. So you can save some money if you don't really need the third row capacity, and 22 horsepower isn't a huge difference considering this is a larger vehicle and it weighs more than that vehicle. Turn radius is right about 3 lanes, where that one was at 2. Let's rock and roll. This is where it feels like a yacht on wheels. That's what I meant by it feels faster in that sense because it's heavier, it's larger. But again, if you're needing that room, you need to go that route. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, which one you think is better, because for me, I would go the Grand Highlander. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video.